What is up, beautiful people? I'm glad you're here today with me for Ask Devan Anything, and welcome to the Burn Bootcamp podcast. Before we get into this, we have 3 amazing questions today, by the way. Before we get into this, you have to subscribe. I mean, come on, what are you doing? This is like amazing. We get to spend all this time together. You don't even know when the episodes go live. You guys subscribe, right? YouTube or your favorite podcast platform. I like Apple Podcasts specifically, and my other call to action as I plug the podcast here is, if you've listened to more than 2 episodes and you haven't given us a review, what are you doing? We need your love. Like, that's what keeps us going. Your love is our oxygen, okay? So make sure that you do that. I got 3 amazing questions from our audience today. The first one comes from Hannah. Shout out to Hannah, Lake Norman, North Carolina, actually right upstairs here in our flagship gym. She says, Devan, self-discipline. Where do you find it and how do you keep it? All right, so interested to dive into that one with you all. Number 2 comes from Annabelle from Druid Hills Burn Bootcamp in Georgia. And she says, what time of the day should I eat? That's a great question, Annabelle. We're going to dive into that too. Number 3 is, what is burst training and why do we have it in our protocol? And that one comes from Dominique. Shout out to Dom from Rochester, New York. All right. So I thought about these last night as I was going to bed, and I like to do a little prep work because I take this relationship seriously, and I'm not just going to come here without fully vetting out a good, solid, well-rounded answer for all of you from my perspective and from my opinion. I could be right. I could be wrong. Well, that's for you to decide, all right? Some of these things that I'll talk about are things that I do personally from my own experience, and then you can use that to draw from for your own life, okay? So especially in this first one here. So let's go over the question that Hannah gave us. I wonder if it's Hannah Bell. Yeah, it's probably Hannah Bell. She's upstairs. I know a lot of our members upstairs at Lake Norman. She said, where do you find it and how do you keep it? Self-discipline. Let's talk about it. Well, I think it's obvious that we should start inside of the definition of self-discipline. It is self-discipline. By nature of the word, that means it's inside of you. It's for you, inside of you, self-discipline. Okay? So let's go inside the inner world for a minute. Okay? I like to split my perspective 2 ways. Inner world, your attitude, your effort, your beliefs that go on inside of your dome. And then the outer world, which is all of the craziness and tragedy and chaos that is swirling around you. There's one characteristic about each of those 2 worlds you need to know. Inner world, attitude, belief, effort, is under your control. External world, tragic chaos, is outside of your control. And this is so empowering to know, because self-discipline only has to do with one's self. So your attitude, your effort, and your beliefs are going to spit out something that we call a routine. And the most successful people in the world have a routine that they stick to, that they do over and over and over and over and over again. I like to think about it like this. A routine is your life's strategy, and the quality of your strategy will be the quality of the results that you get in your life. The quality of your strategy, aka your routine, will be the quality of the outcome that you get in life, the success that you experience. And if you believe that, then the next question will be, then what the heck is a routine? Because a routine then would be a tool to manifest whatever it is inside of yourself, okay? Whatever you are enforcing your self-discipline on, and why and for, what's the purpose of the enforcement of the self-discipline, so that you can then go create something in the outer world to make it less tragic and less chaotic. And the purpose is that northern star. The purpose is the northern star. And that is what the routine, day after day after day after day after day after day, when executed properly, it adds up to whatever that external purpose and vision is that makes the world a better place. But to make the world a better place, you got to make your head a better place first. To make your family a better family. You've got to make yourself a better person first. Everything, listen to me. Everything starts and stops with you. Do you hear me? Everything starts and stops with you. Your attitude, your belief, and your effort. All right, now let's talk about routine. Here's my routine. I'm going to show you. Check it out. Get a quick little screenshot if you need of this. And you're going to see on here, I have a general outline of a routine that I follow day by day by day by day by day by day by day. This, my routine, is my non-negotiable. It is the strategy. It is the way that my calendar is going to fill up, how I spend my time, what I prioritize my time on, who I spend the most time with, what things I'm aimed at versus what things I'm not aimed at. We can't possibly aim at everything. So the one thing in your life that you're going after, that one purpose, that one thing that you can do better than anybody else, that one gifting that you have, we've got to make a routine, a strategy that's going to give you the best outcome and probability of getting there. You follow me? All right. You've just looked at mine. Let me go over it. I wake up at 4 a.m. Actually, the way I language it to myself is I say, DK, we wake up at 4 a.m. Because I'm talking to myself. I'm competing with myself. If you don't got a plural in your life, then you're going to be thinking everything is you, your fault. It needs to be we, me, and him. This version of Devan and that version of Devan. The version that goes through and is a hard-headed human being that makes mistakes, that goes through life trying to do his best, and the person that analyzes that hard-headed human being going through life making mistakes. Okay, together we get up and we get our routine, because the human, me, the individual, I got this brain over here that's going to try to talk me out of those early mornings. Why? Because those sheets are so cozy. Come on with it. Oh, and then my son right next to me, and just huddling my son. I want to get up and leave his side. Oh, my daughter crawls in the bed too. I got the whole family in the bed. I'm not trying to get up, but your goals and your dreams say if you want to make those little kids grow up and be the best version of themselves they can possibly be by watching everything that you do, then get your butt out of bed and get to work, because your goals don't care about how much you want to sleep. Follow? All right. So that's why I get up at 4 a.m. It's not for me. If you're doing it for other people, if you're doing things for other people, guess how many times out of 10 you're going to fail? Guess how many times out of 10 you're going to fail if you're doing it for other people? Go. 10. That's right. You're going to fail 10 times out of 10 if, oh, excuse me. Devan makes mistakes too. I'm going to rewind that. If you make If you're doing things for yourself 10 times out of 10, you're going to fail. If you're doing things for other people, you're going to have a much higher probability of success. Think about it this way. You can go YouTube. Somebody do this. Somebody do this right now. Send me a DM of the video, okay? You can go to YouTube and just type in people saving babies under cars. This is a real thing. Human beings, because their toddler is maybe trapped, their foot's trapped under the car, under the tire or something, and they're screaming for help. People will go over there who have no business lifting up a 2.5-ton car, and they'll lift it up just enough for their children to slide their feet out. Why? Because you will do the impossible. You will do the incredible. You will do the unheard of, the immaculate, the outstanding. You'll go beyond human potential, and you'll go into this state of super being when you're doing things for other people, especially those people that you love so much in your life that it pains you to see them hurt at all. If I pay that same woman that you see, or that same man that you see lifting up the back end of that car, if I paid them $5 million tomorrow to do the same thing, how many times out of 10 you think they're going to do it? I'll wait. How many times do you think somebody could lift up a 2.5-ton big heap of metal? How many times out of 10? The answer is 0. For $5 million. Why? Because you're doing that for yourself. You want that money for yourself. It's not as powerful as when you're doing it for other people. And so self-discipline becomes then a routine that is built based on the purpose that you want to put out into the world, and that purpose hangs its hat on the love that you're going to gain from those people in your life in which you're doing that for, because it can't be for you. How many times have you let yourself down? How many times have you broken promises to yourself? How many times you said, I'm going to go to the gym, I'm going to get to the gym early in the morning, and you don't? How many times you said, I'm going to get up this time every day, and you don't? Because you haven't connected it back to something in your life that you love, that if you don't get up or if you don't go do the workout, then the pain that you're going to experience because of the love that you're going to lose from that person causes you to get out of the bed despite that person that you love being the reason you also want to stay in it. Ooh, that's deep. Guys, it's very deep, okay? But self-discipline, and Hannah, you're asking this question because self-discipline is easy to understand, but it's hard to execute. Tony Robbins once told me, knowledge is not power. Knowledge is only potential power. All of the power is in the execution. Okay, so how do we get to execution? We get to routine. And what is a routine? A set of habituation that you repeat daily, one after another, that rarely, if ever, changes. That has a predictable outcome for you getting more love in your life from the other people by chasing your dreams. Make sense? Say yes. Okay. So small wins, little momentum, all right? Then I'm going to camp. First thing, non-negotiable, right in the morning. You saw it on my routine, 4:45, 5:30 a.m. I'm coming home. I'm a writer, okay? I like to write on Instagram with my captions. So I'll get on Instagram. I'll make 2 posts while I'm sitting in the sauna from 5:30 to 6. I'll get up. I'll shower. By the way, everyone's still sleeping. I'm taking care of myself. I'm owning my day. I'm so much more congruent in my life when I get up and I allow my physical side of my competitive nature, my me versus me, that's fulfilled by my workouts. I get that aligned right here. I feel good in my heart. And then I get to write. Oh, those are the two. That's my love language. I get to work out and then I get to write and I get to educate. Now I feel congruent going into my day, and I want you to feel congruent going into your day too. So what are those things that you're going to do right in the morning before anybody else gets up? And here's the reality for like the vast, overwhelming majority of you, maybe like the 80 to 85 to 90% of you, you just are being lazy. It's not like you're a nurse or somebody that works long 12-hour shifts and can't physically get up in the morning, or a firefighter that needs to be on for 72 straight hours. Those are the outliers. Most of us just like sleeping. Most of us just like sleeping. And I don't blame you. Okay, I don't blame you. And there's super good rationale to stay in bed. It is warm. It is cozy. It is comfy. You do have your children in your bed. You know, the sun still has 2 more hours. You know, you could justify it and say, DK, dude, 4 a.m., you're crazy. I'm not getting up at 4 a.m. I could get up at 6 and still beat the sun up. Great. If that's what that means for you, that you're going to beat the sun up and that's going to help you own your day, then own your day. I'm not saying you need to do my day. I'm just saying my day is my day. And it's going to help me reach my goals for the people in my life that I love. And you have to use mine as just an example to create your own. I don't negotiate with those things in the morning, all right? And even when we're on the road, I built this so I can follow it as closely as we can when we're on the road. Obviously, I don't have an infrared sauna everywhere we go. And sometimes I'm a little bit busy to spend an hour writing when I'm out in the field, hanging out with our teams and pouring into them. My job is to pour into them. Then I'm going to eat breakfast and I'm going to pack, okay? 6:30 to 7:30. When I get to the office, 7:45, I'm doing the hardest thing first. Today, this morning, I have it right in front of me. This is our marketing plan for 2023 Burn Boot Camp. Here's the first draft of it. That's a lot of stuff, takes a lot of intellect to put together a lot of parts. It took me an hour and a half to just write the notes on it. It took the team 10 hours, 20 hours of time to even get me to this point. And I knew for them, I needed to come in, I needed to knock this out when I was as fresh as I could be. It was the hardest, most intellectually challenging thing that I had to do all day, and I needed to get that done. Why? Because now the biggest, most scary, most hairy thing in front of me, I just started going at it right away, and in 90 minutes, I hit the knockout blow. I finished it. I relayed my feedback to Morgan. The team now knows that I value their hard work. I have now the next thing on my schedule, right? Which is followed by, this is a great one, listen to this, right? So you do the hard thing first, followed by 3 little easy things. Boom, boom, boom. Set a meeting, set yourself a reminder, order a new debit card, whatever it is, like things that are so easy that are on your list. Look, you guys, look. I call it my GSD list, get done list, get stuff done list, okay? And I'm gonna just show you an example of what it is. And you can just, if you're watching this on video, you can see these things right here all got done. It all got done, okay? Those things all got done. There's 15 of them. There's 15 things there. And what I want you to understand is that when you have a set amount of things, I have 15. Why? Because I measure activity. I don't necessarily measure like progress without movement. I don't measure busyness. I measure activity. How many things can I get done that are meaningful in one day? I started with 5, by the way. I would do my first hard thing and then I'd do 4 other things, and that was my day. And then I got a little bit better, a little bit smarter. I dialed my routine a little bit more. I gave myself a little bit more capacity. Why? Because I manage my time and I look at my 168 hours in every week. And I'm constantly, every quarter, as you can see, updated on my birthday, October 15th, 2022. Every quarter, I'm refreshing my routine and I'm making sure it fits life for what life is like now. So many of you have tried to imprison yourself in this routine from the past or some other person's idea of a routine, and it's not fitting your lifestyle. You shouldn't feel imprisoned or handcuffed by your routine. You should feel lit up and excited and like on like level 10 about your routine, okay? And so the next thing that I'll do is then it's go to meetings, and this is where I'm pouring into my teams, right? Like I'm making sure at work, I'm GSDing. It's fulfilling the rest of my list. And then I am going to eat lunch because I'd never skip my lunch. That's a non-negotiable. And then I go into leadership hour here at the office. I walk around for an hour and I talk to people and projects about what's going on, make sure they're feeling seen, make sure they're feeling heard, that they know that I genuinely care about their progression. And that when I ask them, hey, what are you working on? How's that impacting the company? That's my go-to question. They are excited to tell me. They want to tell me. I want them to feel how their work impacts the organization, because we're 60 people here. We're small, and we impact hundreds of thousands of people who've done millions and millions of workouts, and I need to make sure every single day that I'm celebrating small wins with my people. Then I go back to my GSD, all right, from 2 to 6, 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. Listen, this is a new one since I've had kids. I used to go GSD from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. back in the day before I had kids. GSD 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. So after my lunch hour and after my leadership hour, I go right into banging out the rest of that list. Well, guess what? I have children, and I am absolutely 1,000% committed to having a daily relationship with my children. One of substance, not one of style. Not one of, hey, look at me, post a photo of myself with my children on Instagram. It's me going deep, putting my phone away for a half an hour, whatever it is, going to their sporting events, picking them up from school. I leave 2 to 6 open because I got a cellular phone. I put myself in a position to be the visionary. I have an entire team that's doing their job, who by the way, are also have this range of flexibility in their work environment to where they can get out whenever they need to for anything they need related to their families. And that's just part of our culture here at the organization. And so, listen, I stay flexible for them. And the other thing that I do is even though I'm staying flexible, I also stay rigid in the fact that I never leave the office. I never leave the office ever, ever, ever without having my GSD list for the next day, because the preparation and how hard you prepare is really what matters. Because when it gets to game time, I'm in execution mode. I'm in fourth quarter mode. Listen, I'm not slowing down when it gets to the fourth quarter. I'm going to keep going hard. If I'm physically and mentally exhausted, a lot of times it's mentally, given all of the things that are going on throughout a day. I need to fall back on my preparation. I have to fall back on that, because how hard I practice, is I have to practice harder than I play. Because if I get to the game and I didn't anticipate what was going to happen in the game because I failed to write it down the night before, study it the night before, watch film the night before, sleep on it, let that let that sink in and then be excited to go tackle it the next day. If I don't do that, then I'm not owning my day. I'm just showing up and being a reactionary figure to all of the external circumstances and all the events and in my environment that are happening every day. I get to react to that. That's not owning your day. That's the opposite of owning your day. All right. And then I move on to dinner, 6:30 to 7. I ask my kids 2 questions when I sit down for dinner with them. I ask them, what did you learn today? And I ask them, what did you fail at today? Those are the 2 questions that I ask them because I want them to always understand that dad has an expectation that we're growing as individuals, that we have the growth mindset, not the fixed mindset, and that they're going to be required as a part of their lifestyle to look for new things to learn, right? So that they can grow as individuals, and that becomes a part of our habit and our routine. And then I say, what have you failed at today or this week? Because I want them to understand that failure is a part of life. And here's the reality of my situation. Morgan and myself, we have a very unique success rate, meaning that there's a very, 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 very small percentage of individuals that are in the position that we are at. And I'm humbled and honored and grateful and so happy for all of the members and the teams that now call Burn Boot Camp home. And this organization is like this living and breathing thing. And Cameron and Maxwell and Ryan, they look at us and they're like, you guys can do no wrong. Like in a little kid's head, they're smarter than we think they are, aren't they? And they're emulating everything. And what they see is everybody wanting to talk to us, everybody wanting to high five us, everybody wanting a piece of mom and dad. And they don't see the shortcomings. Okay, so that's why I instituted this rule, because I want us all as a family to talk about all the things that we're failing at, all the shortcomings that we have, because the shortcomings that we have, this is what we talk about with them at the dinner table. The shortcomings that we have, kids, are powerful. These are the things that give you optics into the unknown in your life. And when you discover the undiscovered, you have an opportunity to increase the probability in which you can add value and be successful back into the world. And so we need to fail at things, kids, because without that failure, we don't learn those lessons. And without the failure, we don't actually know what success means. Just like without the rain, we don't know what the sunshine means. And this is the way that I'll talk to them at the dinner table. And these things are very important for us, okay? Again, routine. I'm going through my routine because these are things that I do all the time. Like I said, I do for me to get to my outcomes in my life. And then it's playtime. And then we're going wild. Right now it's Power Rangers. Ha! We're going after, I'm usually the green one. If you know anything about the Power Rangers, the green Power Ranger starts off as the bad guy and then he comes on to the good guys team. So that's the scene we always play. And Ryan, a little 2-year-old, he's the leader of the Power Rangers. He's the kid's gonna like be a UFC fighter or something. He kicks my butt. And then it's Morgan and I time, 8:30 to 10. And then I'm in bed. Morgan and I, we just leave that hour and a half open for time. Sometimes we need 5 minutes to connect with each other, sometimes we need 30, sometimes we need to have a work conversation for a whole hour and a half. All right? And that's pretty much the routine. So my point is, going back to the question that Hannah asked, I know this is a pretty long answer, but this is a pretty loaded question, right? Self-discipline, where do you find it and how do you keep it? I hope I did a good job of answering that. But again, it's in your routine, it's in the small wins. Okay, it's doing the hard things first, and it's in the small wins on an everyday basis and gaining a little momentum each day. And when you gain a little bit of momentum and you have consistency on your side and you're just keep kicking the ball down the field in the right direction, you're not a dabbler, you're into mastery. You have a specific goal in mind that you want to put out into the external world. All right? That's going to help you. That's going to help you with your attitude, your effort, your belief about what it takes to be successful, and then you can go within inside yourself to find that self-discipline. Whew. Okay. Hannah, great question. Thank you so much. That was awesome. I hope you guys learned a little bit from my routine, and hopefully that you're able to refresh yours every quarter like I do mine. So, by the way, if you haven't subscribed to the podcast, I need you to do so like right now. Can you do it right now? We do it right now, guys. Where are you guys at? You guys, can I see you out there? I see you. I see you. I see the numbers on the back end. Y'all are listening, but you're not subscribing. Okay, you're listening, but you're not subscribing. Morgan, I need you to subscribe because you're a friend, right? You're here to like get mentored. Let me know that you're here.
Let me know that you're here. I want to hear the others. This is a communication, okay? The two-way street, all right? Comment, leave reviews, DM me. By the way, Morgan and I spend an hour every single night in somewhere in our GSD or somewhere in our own downtime, about an hour answering our DMs. Do we get to all of them? Sometimes. Most times, not every single one. There's a lot. But we're going to get to at least 80% of them. So if you keep messaging over and over and over, we're going to have a conversation. We're going to build that relationship. Okay. Get it, got it, good, got it. All right, let's go to number two. Number two, this comes from Annabelle, Druid Hills, Georgia. What time of the day should I eat? That's a good question. What time of the day should I eat? Let me give you an answer that I think will help the majority of you first, then we can go into some nuanced answers. All right, so Annabelle asks, what time of the day do I eat? My answer is first, let's just worry about eating the appropriate caloric intake in a 24-hour period. I'm not going to jump into intermittent fasting where you don't eat breakfast and you let yourself go without eating for anywhere from 12 to 18 hours a day, and then the remainder of the time is your window in which you eat. Okay, we're not going to go there because the reality is most of you are going through Taco Bell or Chick-fil-A or eating Jimmy Dean's breakfast sausages or, a whole bowl of puppy chow or Lucky Charms or your Goldfish, or you're going to the store or the gas station and you're getting a whole bag of candy and you're smashing it all in one setting, okay? And I'm not saying there's not a time or a place for that. What's worked best for me in my life is a disciplined 6 days and 1 day as a reward for being disciplined for 6 days. That's just a simple way to put it. But what we do, which is baked into this question, Annabelle, what we do is we look at it day by day. And that is a fundamental mistake when you look at anything day by day. Your parenting, your exercise, your nutrition, your finances, because that day is just one frame, one snapshot of your life's movie that isn't even written yet. And so when you get that kind of one snapshot, that 1 day's outlook, it is very, very easy to convince yourself that you're doing great. And it's also very, very easy to get down on yourself when you're doing bad. Because the reality is, I would rather you take it in week chunks, because if I have a appropriate caloric intake for myself, for me is about 2,700 calories. If I'm trying to be lean, if I'm trying to gain weight, gain muscle mass, I'll go to about 3,500 calories, maybe even 3,700 calories, because I want to stay lean and I want to stay athletic. So, but if you're going from, let's say, eating, let's say a generic example, okay? You're eating 2,000 calories a day. All right. If you eat 2,000 calories in 1 day, you could say, and your macronutrients obviously have something to do with this, right? So to me, it's energy in and energy balance first. Your calories matter, but they don't matter disassociated with your macros, right? Because your macronutrients, your proteins, your fats, your carbs, those three things make up the calories. But if you don't dial your calories in first, then the macronutrients are rendered less effective. But when you dial in your calories and your macronutrients, now you're going to have a machine, an eating machine that builds the body composition that you want, okay? But I'm just starting at calories for generic purposes to illustrate the point, the following point. Most of you are taking your snapshot as a day. I need you to take your snapshot as a week. Why? Because it's easy to do good in just 1 day and get your 2,000 calories. It's also easy to do bad and get 8,000 calories in 1 day and judge yourself. Okay, we can't judge, we need to make observations about ourselves, right? That's good communication. That's good inner world communication, is to not judge yourself for trying and give yourself grace and just observe yourself for trying really hard and continuing to hammer on it through trial and error until you actually get it down. Now, if you ate 2,000 calories, 2,000 calories, 2,000 calories. We're on day 3, 2,000 calories on day 4, 2,000 calories on day 5, 2,000 calories on day 6, and 17,000 on day 7. Do the math. Okay? You're going to allocate that delta, that margin over the 2,000 calorie goal, 15,000, divide that by the 7 days. Now you're going to get your caloric intake that is going to actually equal the energy balance that you're putting into your body. Because our bodies don't just know a day. We know a lifetime. We know a span. Okay? So here's my advice for you. I want you at a caloric intake to where you could lose about 0.5 pounds a week if you're in the mode, if you're in that world to want to lose a little bit of body fat, which is okay to have that as a goal. It can't be your primary mover by any means. Like get some performance goals as your primary mover, maybe like the strength and conditioning assessment or something along those lines, an athlete games workout that's going to help you kind of be the leading indicator to like losing some body fat. But it's okay to want to lose some body fat. I'm good with that. But you're never going to do it if you think 6 days a week at 2,000 calories and 1 day at 17,000 is going to ever work. It's never going to work. All right, even if your macros are on point. You could eat 20,000 calories of boiled chicken breast and broccoli and you're still going to gain weight. You follow me? So the contents matter, but the calories and the energy matters first. And then we worry about the contents. And so get your energy right. Get your energy balance right. You can go out to any online calculator out there and find your TDEE, okay, your total daily energy expenditure. And you're going to get a couple questions, some calculations of your height, your weight, your sex, how active you are, and then it's going to spit out what you burn, okay, what you burn throughout your normal daily life, all right, and that's going to be the calories, okay, your TDEE is the calories that are required for you to maintain the exact body weight that you're at now, regardless of composition. And we know if it spit out 2,500 calories for us, and we went and ate 2,500 calories of Sour Patch Kids, that's going to equal body fat. If we eat 2,500 calories of sweet potatoes and elk meat, that's going to equal really sustained muscle gains and burn body fat as a source of fuel. You follow me? So that's where macros come in. But you got to get your energy right first. So we have to stop thinking, I did good today. We have to start thinking, I did great this week. I took 7 days, and you can even do this for 7 days. Take 7 days and log your calories in the Lose It app or the MyFitnessPal app. Burn Boot Camp will be coming out with a food log in 2023, a special one just for all of you crazies, okay? Because we want you to log for 3 to 30 days, because in our mission statement, it says we vow to educate. That means we vow to educate you on your nutrition in our 5-pillar philosophy that makes up what we do at Burn Boot Camp, between challenging workouts, focused mindset, goal setting, nutrition education, and empowered community. Nutrition education, we want to educate you. You follow me? So educating you means that you need to log every once in a while. You don't need to log full time towards some obsessive compulsive thing, but it's the best way to learn. It's the best way to learn to observe what a 6 ounces of chicken looks like from a macronutrient standpoint and a calorie standpoint. It's about 40 grams of protein, about 6 ounces, 6 to 8 ounces. You might have a little bit of fat in there, give or take, but it's about 38 to 42, somewhere in there, let's say. I know that an egg white is 8 grams of protein to 5 grams of protein. I know that when I do 8 ounces of elk meat, it's about 75. See, I've learned these things over time so that way you don't have to be so meticulous all the time on your food log, but you want to bring it back so that you can have these exercises like 7 days, use your food log your calories, divide the total amount of the calories by the days, and then you're going to get spit out whether you're doing a good job that week. Okay? So that means that you can't just blow it out of the water on your reward day. Okay, if you're somebody you're like me and you like being 6 days super disciplined and 1 day to have some like normal like social gatherings and drink maybe a little bit of alcohol, and I try to still stay away from bread and really caloric foods, but I'll have a little bit of alcohol, have a little sugar, I got a sweet tooth, maybe a little late night Cinnabon, something like that I'm not gonna have, in the other 6 days. You get an opportunity to do these things when you're in your caloric limit on that day. And the last thing I want to say on this, because this is a touchy one, is definitely do not undereat for 6 days so that you can overeat for the 7th. Okay? You don't want to just undereat because you're going to go on vacation for a day, right? And try to do it that way. That's just going to leave you malnourished. Okay? That's going to leave you malnourished. So what time of the day should I eat is the question. Annabelle, listen, you and everybody at the Druid Hills community are probably wondering this. So I hope this helps. But the advice is really, you don't really need to worry about what time of the day you eat until everything else that I've talked about is dialed in. Here's where you should worry about the time of the day in which you eat, okay? If you are graduating from lifestyle everyday athlete where the game is how many camps, 50, 100, or 250 can I do in the year? What's my game? What's my game? What's my championship looking like today, okay? If it's the lifestyle athlete championship, like it is for me, I'm going 250 workouts, camps every year. If I do that, I won the championship. I won me versus me. I won that championship. I took the crown for myself, and I'm going on back to 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 back and back again championships. All right? Because every single year, it's me versus me. I keep getting better. You keep going harder. So if you do graduate into performance-specific training in eating, bodybuilding, competitive marathon running, athlete games, any powerlifting competition, now you're going to want to start to dial in what time of the day should I eat, what food should I eat to give me the best specific chance of reaching my sports championship, my sports goal, okay? There's a disassociation between normal everyday lifestyle athletes, that's where I sit today, okay, and championship type, sporting events and where you're trying to actually bring home a specific goal. You'll eat different in bodybuilding than you're going to eat different in marathon running, then you're going to eat different in the athlete games than you would in powerlifting, okay? But over here on this side, on like the 98% of us, are us lifestyle athletes, that 45-minute non-negotiable, 4 to 6 to 7 day a week exercise routine, training routine, that right there, that's the championship. Then you just need to worry about getting your food in. Get the food in and make sure your energy balance and your calories and your macronutrients, which I'm not going to go into in this episode, I've talked about in a lot of other episodes, you're going to go in and you're going to make sure those two things are dialed in. Annabelle, does that make sense? Druid Hills, does that make sense? Say yes. All right, and your reminder one more time before the end of this podcast. Actually, you know what? I'm going to remind you 2 more times. I'm going to do it right now and at the end. You got to subscribe, everybody. All right? We like to see you subscribing. Please write us a review. Let us know what'd you learn today. All right, what'd you learn today? Even comment if you've already subscribed. Start to engage with me on Instagram. All right? Listen. The third question, you've already heard it. I know you've been waiting for it, all right? And I was pretty long-winded on those first 2 today, so let's go to number 3, and let's first be real. I'm going to be long-winded a lot because I care and because there's a lot to talk about, and there's a lot at stake here. So hope you're hanging with me. Hope you're having fun. What is burst training, and why do we have it in our protocol? All right, first of all, burst training, that's DK's go-to. That's my jam right there. Oh yeah, let me talk to you about what burst training is, okay? Burst training is what we started off the Burn Boot Camp protocol with. If you guys kind of go back in time, do I have it up here, Isaiah? Do I have it up here? My first DVD. I have my first DVD somewhere, and I'll find it in here eventually. I know it's somewhere around this office. It was called Mama Burst, and it was 12 exercises. It was 12 workout routines that went for 15 minutes. They were all burst training, okay? And here's the definition of burst training. We've been doing it since day one, always gonna do it. It's my favorite, and there's an app coming out, and it's gonna come out next year in 2023, and you're gonna get some more burst training in a big way on the app, okay? So a little teaser, a little plug for you, all right? And a lot of you train with Matt online right now on Burn On Demand, and that's going to be part of what I'm talking about. So, little teaser. So, thank you, Annabelle and Druid Hills, for all of your dedication to Burn Boot Camp. Annabelle, thank you for your question. Hopefully, I did you justice. All right, guys, before we move on to number 3, this is your reminder that if you love me and you love what we're talking about, you got to go subscribe, okay? Flex on that subscribe button. Let's make it happen. We got my team here. All of their goals, all of their sites are around how many subscribers can we get to the podcast? How many subscribers can we get to YouTube? Because those two platforms for us are going to allow us to take our brand outside of the physical four walls and into the mental and emotional realm, which we all need so much. So tag a few friends, subscribe, spread the word. Let's move on to question number 3. DK, what is burst training and why do we have it in our protocol? This comes from Dominique. We're gonna call you Dom. How about that? I'm on a nickname basis with you, Dom. Let's call her Dom. All right, Dom from Rochester, New York. All right, thank you for your question. Shout out to the whole Rochester community, Pittsford, Webster. You guys are awesome. And Dom, thank you for being part of our community. Okay, now, what is burst training? Burst training is the protocol in which Burn Bootcamp hangs its hat on. It's the center of everything. It's what I started with. It works just like this. It is a 15 to 45 minute interval training with your body weight only that goes, and I'm gonna read this right from our trainer manual, okay? The definition of burst training is a highly effective, the most effective, which is why it's number 1, form of interval training that allows either a time 2-to-1 or 3-to-1 work to rest ratio with multiple rounds performed consecutively. This type of workout incorporates body weight and all external load exercises. Okay? The key is that this can be done with body weight, and that's really the pocket. Okay, so how burst training looks is you're gonna set up your time. So if you're at camp, it's gonna be 45 minutes. Let's just say you don't have time for camp. Okay, let's say you don't have time for camp because something's going on in your life and blah, blah, blah. We all have these reasons, right? So this is why, by the way, little teaser, this is why we're creating right now Burn on Demand, which is our live streams that Maddie Matt is already doing every day, Monday through Friday. We're gonna add an on-demand library, and burst training is gonna be a big part of that to get you guys your quick little bursts when you need it, or to supplement a secondary workout on top of camp just to get that heart rate up at lunchtime or whatever. But burst training is go hard as you can, okay? Go hard as you can, short duration, short period of time, and it works like we said in the trainer manual here, 2-to-1 or 3-to-1. Okay, 2-to-1 or 3-to-1. Let's call it 30 seconds, okay? 30 seconds of activity by 15 seconds of break. Or 60 seconds of activity by 30 seconds of break. All right, and generally speaking, we're gonna have about 5 to 7, maybe 8 exercises, and we're gonna circuit through each one of those burst training exercises in that format. When we are on in our active, let's call it 30-15, on our active 30 seconds, what I want to see for that exercise is you are going as hard as you can because it's a short duration, a short period of time. You're going as hard as you can, and your goal is to get your heart rate in doing so to at 90% or above its maximum, okay? And then right after that, in your rest part of the ratio, activity was first, rest is second. Double up the time, half the time for the rest, Breathe, bring the heart rate back down to a target 60%, and then bam, spike it right back up. And that's called burst training. Why? As you can tell, there's active sets of bursting as hard as you possibly can. Now, 90 and 60 from a heart rate perspective, 90 and 60 is the target heart rate. Okay, it's the target heart rate. How do you get your target heart rate? Here's the formula. 225 minus your age equals times 0.9 equals target heart rate. 225 times 0.6 minus age, what is that? Hold on. What is it? 225 times 0.9 equals, it's 225 minus your age times 0.9. Okay, shit.
You're good.
Can I just start it? Here's the formula?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you don't know how to get to your heart rate and you don't have a Fitbit or any piece of technology helping you, here is a very, very, very easy way to kind of set your target heart rates manually. It's the number 225 minus your age times the desired target heart rate. Okay, so 225 minus for me is 35 now. I just turned 35 times 0.9. That's my target. That's 90% of my max. Then 225 minus 35 times 0.6. That's going to be the low end. I want to go in my rest to the low end, and I'll breathe my way to the low end, and then boom, I'll blast it up, burst it up. We'll get super high heart rate. What that does is increases your HGA, it increases your HGH, increases your testosterone, increases your leptin. It metabolizes cortisol. It burns your cortisol. You can do it anywhere, anytime. It's the most effective way to burn body fat, and this is documented, okay? So that's why we do it at Burn Bootcamp. Now, I love the short burst nature of it because it's one of the only ways that I ever recommend a secondary workout in a day, right? So think about this. We'll go high knees, bicycles, jumping jacks, rapid fire punches, and then maybe half burpees, 5 exercises. Each one of those exercises is 30 seconds of active hard work, 15 seconds of recovery, move on to the next one. You're gonna do that for 5 to 8 rounds, and you're gonna do that between 15 and 45 minutes, okay? The whole time, what I want you to do is track that heart rate to make sure you know you're working hard enough in the active by being above that 90% or at it, and that you know that you're cooling down effectively or recovering effectively when the heart rate comes down. And if it doesn't right at first, that's because the more that you get in shape, the more cardiovascular capacity that you have as a human being, the more you're gonna have control over your heart rate, and the more in shape you are, right? The more you push that anaerobic threshold, the more you're going to be able to control the heart rate simply just by breathing, and the faster recovery times that you're gonna have. And another sign is that you're gonna have a low resting heart rate when you're not doing anything. You're gonna have one in the 50s, maybe low 60s, okay? So what is burst training and why do we have it, Dom? We have it so that we can incorporate every week what's called the afterburn effect. The afterburn effect is the spiked metabolism from all of the things, all of the function that happens. The spiked metabolism or the spiked physiology, and how the taper effect over the following 72 hours, the taper effect is actually increasing the calories that you burn at rest. So what I'm telling you is that a 15-minute burst training workout or a 45-minute burst training camp, all right, that style of exercise is gonna have the longest tailwind of calorie burning effect out of anything else that we do, making it the creme de la creme, the be-all fat burner of the Burn Bootcamp programming. And I hope that answers your question, Dom. Makes sense? Say yes? All right, you guys. Well, hey, this has been fantastic. 3 questions today. And I thought they were really great ones. We're always taking your questions. You can put them right here on YouTube if you're watching the video. Remember to leave a review. If you're on podcast right now and you haven't left a review, I want you to leave a review right now, please. If you could do that, it would mean the world to me, and I'll also make Morgan really, really happy. And when Morgan's happy, I'm happy. She's my hero, so I want to make her happy. So help me make my wife happy. There's one. There's a good one. I'm going to figure out how many ways I can pressure you all into making reviews and subscriptions for us, okay? We're one big family. We're one big family, and I know that you want this information to get out to Burn Nation as well. That's it for Ask Devan Anything today. Ask your questions anywhere on the internet. Until next time, 2 claps on 2, 1, 2.